Well, greetings everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day and a great week. My name is Sadler Taylor. I'm the Curator of Folklife and Fieldwork here at McKissick Museum. Now, one of my job duties is to manage the Folklife Resource Center, affectionately known around here as the FRC. Now, the FRC holds thousands of images, hundreds of hours of audio and video, paper ephemera, manuscripts, festival flyers, concert posters, a wealth of information about what makes the South such an interesting place to live, work, and play. So I'm going to be your host on today's first episode of From the Archive, which is designed to provide you a little portal into that FRC and explore some of the interesting stories that live within the Folklife Resource Center and represent some of the wonderful communities and artists that are present and alive and well, many of them here in the South. So sit back and enjoy this brief little journey into the lives of two sisters, Evelyn and Dolly Kittrell, who were really on the forefront of country music in South Carolina in the 1930s and 40s. So enjoy.
Everybody get quiet now, the Kittrell sisters are coming on.
Riding down the canyon to watch the sun go down, a picture that no artist there could paint. White-faced cattle lowing on the mountainside. I hear a coyote whining for its mate.
The Kittrell sisters, Evelyn and Dolly, started playing country, bluegrass, and gospel music when they were youngsters. They were born into a musical family. Their mother, Addie, played banjo, and their father, Donnie, sang. He bought Evelyn her first guitar in downtown Columbia when she was just 10 years old.
My dad brought her a guitar home one day. First of all, he brought her a banjo because my mother knew how to play the banjo. And then Evelyn started playing the banjo. And the next thing we knew, he brought her a guitar home. And she could play it just like she played the banjo. And that's when we really started, my daddy started bringing home these instruments for us because my dad and mother were so musical.
So your dad played an instrument too?
My dad's family was a singing family. I went to one of the reunions and I've never heard such beautiful singing as that group of Kittrells did, and enjoyed that.
And all I have to do is lay around. I'll saddle up my pony and I'll ride off down the trail to watch that desert sun go down. Cactus plants are blooming, sagebrush everywhere. Granny's by.
Evelyn recalled prior to receiving her guitar that there was just a lot of harmonizing around the house, singing "You Are My Sunshine" while washing the dishes and such. It was a very musical environment, she remembers. While Evelyn found her bliss playing the guitar, Dolly was fond of the accordion. They both learned most of their songs from listening to radio programs out of Nashville and Texas. These radio programs featured musicians like Jimmy Rogers, the father of country music, Texas native Bob Wills, and the Carter family of Virginia. These music pioneers had a profound impact on country, bluegrass, and gospel music, and certainly influenced the young Evelyn and Dolly.
In 1939, at the age of 13 and 15, Evelyn and Dolly won first prize in a talent contest on the popular radio program The Major Bowes Amateur Hour. A producer for Columbia radio station WCOS heard their performance and offered them an early morning radio show.
They were going to have this contest at one of the theaters downtown, and the prize was $25. So I didn't remember until I was thinking about it the other day, and Evelyn went down first by herself. She said, I'm going down and I'm going to try to win that prize. $25 was a lot of money, back then. So sure enough, she won first prize. Came home and told me about it, and I said, hey, how about us going together?
What about that? And was this in, I guess, what, the 1930s?
Yeah, that was way, way back. I don't remember what year. But it was the very first thing that we did publicly, And so I went back with her. And we got on the stage, and then we won again. And so I won that $25. And they told us we couldn't come back.
Well, do you remember what song did she play to win? Do you remember?
Well, let's see. She probably did I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart and Yodel by herself when she first went down. And then when we went the second time, we probably sang Texas Plains. And we yodeled together. And she would yodel a different part from me. I yodeled soprano, and she'd do this other part that she sang. And so there we were winning again. So I reckon they were getting kind of tired of us coming down and winning the prizes. So they said, well, you can't come back now. But right after that, we were offered a chance to sing on one of the radio stations. I think somebody probably asked us before we left down there that day after we won together. And that was the beginning of us singing on the radio.
They performed live each morning at 7:30 before heading off to school at Columbia High. Soon they were playing on the radio after school and on Saturday mornings. While at WCOS, they were known as the Melody Maids and played with the Radio Rangers and the Carolina Ramblers. The Kittrell sisters began performing on the Sonny Smith radio show with the Carolina Crackerjacks and were known as the Carolina Sweethearts. The sisters became known for their smooth harmonies, penchant for yodeling, and a passion for the cowboy songs that were all the rage in the Carolinas during the 1940s. In 1941, WIS Radio began its Barn Dance program, a live one-hour radio show held every Saturday night. Evelyn and Dolly, known as the Barn Dance Sweethearts, were a part of every show over its 3-year run. One of their most distinct memories involved a live performance on the WIS Barn Dance in Orangeburg, South Carolina. It was 1945, and the radio announcer broke into the live broadcast to announce the president was expected to announce Germany's surrender and the end of World War II.
The world is still awaiting official confirmation of the report that Germany has surrendered unconditionally to all the Allies. To repeat, this is not yet official, although President Truman has prepared a proclamation, and when the confirmation does come, the President himself will read the news over all the radio networks. Word of the surrender first came from San Francisco, where a member of the American delegation announced it, saying that he believed the announcement would be made by General Eisenhower. But President Truman arrived at the White House at 7:30, and Secretary Early announced that preparations were being made for the President to read the great news. But so far, the confirmation has not yet come. At 8:30, Early said the War Department had no confirmation, neither did the State Department. But the microphones are being set up in the old diplomatic reception room of the White House from which broadcasts are made. The American delegate in San Francisco had said that confirmation of the surrender report had been expected in Washington at 4 o'clock Eastern Wartime this afternoon, but that it had been delayed. We just had a bulletin AM Sunday, Paris time. There had been no announcement yet from Supreme Headquarters concerning a German surrender. A few moments ago, reporters asked Early if the president's statement would include a declaration of VE Day, to which Early replied, not exactly. In San Francisco, the United Nations Conference was thrown into an uproar when an extra edition of a morning paper appeared with the premature headline, Nazis Quit, and the plenary session has just adjourned without announcement of any kind. NBC will continue to interrupt all programs with further details.
WIS will interrupt any program this evening to bring you the latest news. We take you now to Orangeburg, South Carolina for the broadcast of the WIS Barn Dance, which is already in progress.
Mama don't have no bank playing here. No, Mama don't have no bank playing here. Well, Stumpy don't care what Mama don't like, play his bank anyhow. Mama don't have no bank.
Well, say, I don't see a bit of sense going along here without a song from my barn dance sweetheart. Miss Evelyn, we've had a heap of requests for you to do tonight, and if we attend to get even to a few of them, you better go to work right now. How about it?
Have I told you lately that I love you? Could I tell you once again somehow? Have I told with all my heart and soul how I adore you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. If I could break into I'm no good without you anyhow. This world would end today if I could lose you. Oh, darling, I'm telling you now. Have I told you lately how I miss you when the stars are shining in the sky? Have I told you why the nights are long when you're not with me? Well, darling, I'm telling you now.
During their years on the radio, they formed lifelong friendships with fellow entertainers Byron Parker, Snuffy Jenkins, and Pappy Sherrill, who were fixtures on the early country music scene in South Carolina. The sisters retired from radio in 1945, but continued to make personal appearances at theaters, school auditoriums, and community organizations throughout the state. Even late in life, when Evelyn was living at an assisted living facility, she kept her guitar in her room and could often be heard playing for the other residents. She passed away in 2006. The Kittrell sisters received the Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Award in 1992.
Well, now, while Miss Evelyn is catching her breath, we have a dignitary to introduce. He may feel somewhat slighted by...